Detroit in the building. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, hit the like button. And I'm gonna give a few minutes for people to get in the room. We doing a recap and update on P. Diddy may be coming home soon. Okay, homie, I love you. Okay. And I'm just gonna do the recap part first. These are a list of people who were in attendance at his party. Yellow Beezy, T.D. Jakes, Bankroll Freddie, Usher, Steve Stout, Russell Simmons, Stevie J, Eve, Aaron Hall, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Rick Ross, Dr. Dre, Meek Mill, Drake, LeBron James. Well, he used to go to all the Diddy parties. LeBron James, The Game. The Game lived with Diddy for 2 years. Justin Bieber, Little Rob, Cuba Gooding Jr., Stevie J, Usher, Young Miami, Daphne Joy, 50 Cent baby mama. And you know that video just came out with her sex tape with her. Chris Brown, Jay Ramy, Kim Kardashian, Ray J, Clive Davis, of course, that was his mentor, Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, Samuel Jackson, Puffy's mom. Those were the people in attendance. And I'm just gonna do this recap part so I can get this stuff off my phone. Remember during the trial when he said Sean Diddy Combs alleged that all the prostitutes were his girlfriends that he hired? Y'all remember that? Prosecutors accused Combs of knowingly transporting people from 2009 to 2024 with intent to engage in prostitution. Remember that he said those was all his girlfriends. Then they issued a search warrant to his properties. And remember, he made that phone call to his sons and said, throw out all the pizza boxes. Then he was arrested at the hotel in New York City. And then they charged him with sex trafficking and racketeering. Diddy was accused of 120 new sexual assault cases. Then he was accused of abusing minors. And they never talked about none of this stuff during the case. Then prosecutors said that he distributed meth hallucinogens in the new indictment. And then we found out that he had been a drug addict for years. That explained all his strange behavior. And everybody was trying to sue him. Everybody and his they mama. Remember, then they tried to file a lawsuit against Jaguar White. That was the funniest shit right there. She broke it in a joke. What money she got? Now, this what really got me. Aaron Hall went missing after being named in the lawsuit. And you ain't never hear they was looking for Aaron Hall. Gardner accused Hall and Sean Diddy Combs of SA in a lawsuit against them in November. We have exhausted all reasonable methods of locating him. I'm unaware of any additional addresses, locations, or persons we could rely on to serve him the summons. This was in Vibe. A second attempt was made in Terrence, California, but the current homeowner confirmed that Hall had moved 2 years prior. The search was Hall went to Ohio. Remember, Aaron Hall was in the group guy. Then they went to Ohio looking for him, and he wasn't there at that address. I thought that shit was funny. Oh, well, happy birthday, Jackie. Happy birthday. Like, share, subscribe, hit that like button. Ann Hall has vanished, according to the woman suing Diddy and Hall. And then they never mentioned anything about Ann Hall in those documents. Then remember Little Rod sued him. Half of that lawsuit been dismissed. If you stayed with somebody for 2 years taking abuse, it's insane. And you stayed and you got paid. It's insane for a man. What man? I don't know. I don't know. I just thought it was strange. He filed that lawsuit. I'm getting all this stuff on my phone. Now, remember, then they go to the psychiatrist, right, to get Diddy claim that he had the inability to control his behavior in order to save their client from decades behind bars. Then they tried to do the mentally ill thing on Diddy. Well, he had a drug habit. That's what it was. Then they gave him a plea deal, which he rejected. This gonna be the quickest recap y'all ever seen, cause I ain't reading none. I just want this shit out my phone. But according to me, he's supposed to be coming home September 2026. And then James Comey's daughter was the one prosecuting the case, and Donald Trump made sure, um, well, Pam Bondi fired her. I'm not talking about them texts between Cassie and Diddy. We can delete all that. But she did talk about the domestic violence because he was whipping her ass. Now he was doing that. And she would talk about how sore her mouth, that she developed sores in her mouth from, sucking all them from all the stuff she was sucking. Now they just dismissed Don Richards' lawsuit against him. Then they said Prince Harry was at the Diddy party too. Then remember they asked Trump for a pardon. That wasn't gonna happen. 50 Cent reacts to Diddy's defense alleging Cassie relationship was mutually abusive. Then 50 Cent did the docu-series about the documentary. We're gonna get to the videos in a minute. I just want to go quickly through these timeline. Then little Boosie came on the picture and he accused Cassie and her husband Alex of planning Diddy's downfall. Boosie always got something to say, but he been real quiet because he done picked up some charges now. They say he violated his probation. So now he probably going back to jail. So then Diddy's legal team wanted Cassie's husband banned from the court, which didn't happen. And while he was locked up, he been renting out his jet, and he made during that time last year he made $4.1 million renting out his private jet. So, and I think he's still. I'm pretty sure he's still renting the jet out. I'm sorry, he made 41 million renting out that jet. Then he got Young Thug's attorney on his case, Brian Steele. Brian Steele, a bad lawyer. Man, if I had some money, Brian Steele, listen, hire Brian Steele. Now Brian Steele is added to the Lil Durk case. Oh no, I want to keep this. Remember, then Kid Cudi testified that Diddy blew up his car? And they say Diddy really did blow up Kid Cudi car. That was some funny shit to me too. Jennifer Lopez was scared to death that she was gonna have to testify. She wasn't needed. Jay-Z was scared to death. He cut ties with Diddy. Snoop Dogg, he ran away. They had a bond since the 90s. Snoop representing the West Coast, Diddy representing the East Coast. So when he got those two charges dismissed, remember when he went back, the inmates gave him a standing ovation. Damn, I wish I could. Okay, I'm about to get to the new stuff. So remember when Kanye West went to see him in court? That was a huge debacle. Kanye West was the only one to come out and support Diddy. If that's your friend, you're supposed to support your friends. And so when he get out, they supposed to do a collab on the album. He's supposed to make a comeback. Hey Beverly, hey love, how are you? How you doing? Then remember then he filed the two lawsuits against NBC. Wait a minute. He filed 50 million. Damn, I think I These lawsuits was filed as Combs faced a multitude of other legal challenges and he tried to sue them. Those lawsuits were dismissed. He didn't win on those defamation of character lawsuits. No, I don't know you, Beverly. So while Diddy was locked up, he said that was the first time he'd been sober for 25 years. Young Miami says Diddy is loving, genuinely, and supportive in a letter that she wrote to the judge. And but that the drugs, it explains his erratic behavior that he was having. Then he got the 4-year prison sentence for the Mann Act, which is some bullshit. Only 3 people been charged with the Mann Act. Damn, what's that man name? Oh my God, what was his name? And the boxer from the 1920s, Chuck Berry. And he the third for transporting, because that was an act made for black men who were messing with white women back during the time that you wasn't supposed to be. Today is Friday. Diddy wrote a letter to Judge Summer asking to stay in New York City, which he was granted that, or to stay in New York. Now, before Biggie's mom passed, his estate fired back that the documentary claims about the funeral of Notorious B.I.G. are flat out false and disrespectful. Because I thought Diddy paid for all of for Biggie's funeral. And the documentary was called The Reckoning. Oh, he did. He said Burroughs stated he had never seen any indication that Biggie's estate paid for the funeral, insisting that Combs and Bad Boy covered all expenses, as he should have. And isn't that funny in that documentary? He never talked about his baby mama, Daphne Joy, who Diddy was still paying her $10,000 a month rent while he was going through trial. I I bet you he stopped paying her rent after she testified. Her rent 10,000 a month. So now they saying his sons are going to um, play in a documentary about his about the trial, about his life and how they went through what they went through while their daddy was in prison. So it's supposed to be a documentary coming out about that with both of his sons. All right, we done with that. Now let me do this. Let me get to this video because it's the main one I want to play, and then I'm gonna go back to recap mode. I love them. This is Sean G. I love him. The podcast was Soul. So to know everything. But man, 2027, November 2027. Okay? Now his release date, just based on good time, unless the good time is already calculated in that. I don't know. Right? But let's just assume that it's not. So that puts us at November, January 2027, November 2027, December 20, November 2027. Now, Apostle Sam. Oh, shit. I think he got into the RDAP program. I think he got into the RDAP program in December of. Let me see something real quick. How long is the RDAP program in federal prison? Okay. No, Beverly, I don't like sports like that. No. The residential drug abuse program in federal prison is an intensive 500-hour program that typically takes 9 to 12 months to complete in prison. Successful completion can reduce a federal inmate sentence by up to 12 months and provide up to 6 months in a halfway house. Oh, wow. He coming home. Is broken down into 3 main phases. Unit-based treatment lasts 9 to 12 months. Inmates live in a dedicated therapeutic community separate from the general pop. Okay? Participate in half-day treatment, half-day work. And I gotta get my lighter. Completed in a residential rehabilitation center, halfway house to aid in return. Okay, so we got the program is between 9 and 12 months, right? So Puff he got transferred. When did Diddy get transferred to Fort Dix? All right, so he was transferred to Fort Dix October 30th, 2025. Now, let's assume that he didn't get right into the drug program. Let's assume December 1st, he gets into the drug program. So, he gets into the program December 1st. This is an assumption. December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. That would make 9 months for the RDAP program. The 9 to 12 months. Okay? So he finishes the drug program in August. All right? These are assumptions. Now, successfully completing the RDAP program on a 50-month
sentence can reduce your total time behind bars by up to 1 year, followed by a transition to a halfway house and home confinement for the remainder of your sentence.
Oh, wow.
The BOP grants a reduction of up to 12 months off your sentence upon successful completion of all 3 phases: unit-based, treatment, and follow-up. Graduates are generally prioritized for halfway house placement. For a 50-month sentence, this often means transitioning to a halfway house for the final 6 to 12 months of your reduced sentence.
Oh, he coming home. He coming home.
Confinement. The final portion of the halfway house transition is usually served on home confinement. Now, check this part out, y'all. Stacking credits. The RDAP time reduction can be combined with other BOP programs, such as Good Time. Remember, we just talked about the Good Time. So far, he's got 94 days. So if he does July and August, that'll be more days, probably pushing them up somewhere around 100 days. Combined with Good Time and First Time Act earned time credits, potentially reducing your total incarceration time by well over half.
Damn.
All right? Let's look at this. To act on First Step Act earned time credits alongside the RDAP, the immediate first step is completing your pattern risk. All right, let's just tell us what it is. All right. Now, earning rates. For the First Step Act earned time credits, you can earn 10 days of credit per 30 days of programming.
Damn.
You get 10 days off a month.
Damn.
For the first 6 months, and then you go to what's called team. Once you go to team, then after your next risk assessment, which is team, if you remain in a low or minimum security facility, which Fort Dix is, this increases to 15 days for 30 days, half.
Oh, damn, he coming home. He coming home.
You can apply up to 12 months of these credits directly toward an early release to supervised release. Okay? Any additional earned credits can be cashed in for earlier placement in a halfway house or home confinement. Now, there's a good chance. Remember when he did that program at MDC Brooklyn when he was working with them inmates? Free game with Diddy. Now, that will count. That will be a form of programming. The BOP will count that as a form of programming. So he's got the free game with Diddy at NDC Brooklyn, which is going to potentially, I'm assuming, fall into the First Step Act earned time credits, right? Then he's got his Good Time, and then he's got the RDAP, right? RDAP is not a part of the First Step Act. It is an older, separate BOP program that requires a documented substance use disorder. Okay? The benefit: successfully completing the rigorous 500-hour program can earn you up to 12 months off your sentence.
Oh, yeah, he about to come home.
Early placement in a halfway house. First Step Act earned time credits. December, January. You're going to report to the probation. You're going to definitely piss in the cup. Make sure you clean. If his urine ain't clean, you're going to send his ass back.
Yep.
But I think his urine be clean. I don't think Puff going to get out of him. I think that's over. I think he see that getting high got him into all of this shit. So you're going to piss in the cup. And then you're going to dip. And that's going to be it. And I think he's got 5 years. 5 years of pay. 5 years of probation. So after he completes the 1 year of halfway house or home confinement, they're gonna cut the ankle monitor off, and then he'll be free to do whatever he wants, but he'll still be on paper. And if he doesn't get into any you can't have any police contact. You know, if you on federal probation and you riding in a car and you get pulled over for a speeding ticket, you supposed to call your probation officer and let them know, yo, I got pulled over today on the New Jersey Turnpike. You know what I'm saying? And this is what happened. They gave me a ticket, and I went on about my way because they're gonna find out. And if they find out you had police interaction and you didn't tell them, that could be grounds for them to violate you and send you back to prison for the remainder of the time you have left on probation. So he's got 5 years. If he does the first 1 year clean, they cut off his ankle monitor, and then he does another year clean, he can file an application with his probation officer in the Bureau of Prisons to let him get off of paper early. And a lot of times they let you off early, and then you're free to do whatever you want. So all of these calculations that we just went through, I think are somewhat accurate. He's sure, and if the appeal goes through before then or after, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. If they do the appeal and remand the sentence, Puff he may even decide to appeal his case to the Supreme Court to get the whole thing overturned. The whole prostitution thing overturned.
Well, and if he did that, the Supreme Court and the appeals court can deny that they don't even want to hear the shit. So that's no guarantee.
Now that Daphne Joy has come out and she's doing what she's doing, she's on the podcast circuit, and she's pretty much validating that there was no prostitution, right? That, number one, there was no money being made, right? In order to have a Mann Act conviction be true and stamp certified in the federal system, there has to be a for-profit motive. Puffy was tricking.
Right.
He was not making money. This was not a for-profit venture. That being the case, he should have never been convicted on the Mann Act in the first place.
I totally agree.
So he could eventually appeal that to the Supreme Court along with the acquitted conduct because 6 or 7 of the Supreme Court justices were already against acquitted conduct sentencing. So he's got a lot of options. But the main thing is he will not be in Fort Dix until 2028 unless he does something stupid like get high or get drunk or get kicked out of the drug program, which I'm sure he's not going to do. program, he will get 1 year knocked off his sentence. He will get 1 year eligibility for home confinement, and he will be home. I'm saying the latest September 2026. Out of prison.
Boom. That's a possibility. Now let me look this up. Oh, they already saying he planning a huge celebration for his upcoming release. I would say he probably gonna get out in 2027, not in September. Oh, this came out 7 hours ago. His empire is crumbling. This is popular.
Honey, I guess he said, "Come get your freak off." I thought he said, "Come get your free coffee." And oh, hi there. Sorry about quite a few products. So yay! Oh, and looked hella good in a fur coat. Changing up that 14 grand now is computers shutting down permanently, and if this night of his career, he ended up getting charged with assault. Prosecutors were saying, "Well, this little bitch drew a gun during the fight too," which I mean, if you're getting shot at and you have a gun.
Oh, I don't want to hear nothing. No, no, I don't want to hear nothing from him. Yep, there's no update other than TMZ saying this. Let's see what TMZ is saying.
What's going on? Welcome to
This was June 2nd.
Here with Branson. Hey, he's back. Good morning. In front of the camera, not behind the camera. Courtney at his house in Beverly Hills. He did an interview where he spoke on it. We haven't heard from ASAP or Rihanna, for that matter, on that. So would say that Hockman, who is the head of the LADA, it seems like these high-profile cases he likes to take on, and he gets in front of the microphone. Was a very terrifying situation back in March of that home, but I just don't see how you could ever go back to living in a home where that.
Oh, that's ASAP Rocky.
Taylor Swift, and one source was putting it. Yeah, no, it was no. That actually, you know what? That your fiance doesn't. You're out. There's nothing out. People are.
All right, we not okay. Oh shit, I ain't want to do that. I'm gonna delete this shit. Why isn't this playing? Okay, let me just do this. Oh, let me close that.
Friday sales in full effect. If you want, we see Diddy and what did he settle for? 50 million. I'm pretty sure it was a high number. Yeah. When you have Kid Kudo, I think that's his name, and these different rappers, like I think it was Young Jock who said, well, he made Cassie shave her head on a show. When you have all of these, alleged allegations sitting out there, then you got Mace, you got the Locks, you got all of these people who are angry with you right now. So you don't know who's throwing those bombs your way. And it's a lot of people who are going to be called and deposed to help bring validity to Cassie's claims. So, yeah, why do I put myself through that? Why do I let that get in, or why should I let that get in the public eye? So you weigh your options. Is debt to income ratio. So you say, okay, this is going to be a huge debt. This is going to stop my income from coming through. What do I do? Get rid of the debt so I can keep my income. And that's what Diddy did. Right. Let's talk about a little bit about this window that they have in certain states where people can actually file these sexual assault lawsuits without, a lot of evidence. Can you speak on that? Yeah, they're called look back windows, and look back windows are put in place by these legislators in various states: Los Angeles, Nevada, New Jersey, New York. And the one in New York went into effect on Thanksgiving Day of last year. You have only 1 year, and it expires next week, Thanksgiving next week. So you have 1 year to bring into statute of limitations of laying on any accusation you have of criminal charges against someone. These senators and the governor signing the law, these look back windows to say, I'm going to give you 1 year to bring any claim against anybody. You don't have to have any evidence. You don't have to have any proof. You could just say it happened. It could be 60, 70, 80 years old, as long as the person is alive.
That's
So
not right.
Diddy,
That's not
right.
right.
With Mr. Cosby, Stephen Tyler, L.A. Reid, these women now are saying, okay, I got to find me a lawyer. This is like these law firms you see, like Morgan, various law firms doing class action lawsuits, Capital June, all these lawsuits or Roundup. Well, it's the same thing. You got attorneys sitting back saying, well, any woman that comes to me against anybody famous, they're just not going to take any regular woman against some regular guy. They're going to say, no, that look that woman don't benefit you. Well, I'm saying as a victim, as an alleged victim, that this guy who works as a cab driver and sexual assaulted me. Well, why did you go to the cops? Well, I was just afraid. He's not powerful. He has no money. But if you're going to bring a claim against a celebrity with insurmountable amounts of wealth, we're going to take that claim. And that's what lawyers are doing. Women now, they don't have to, they can just say it happened, man. And they look back and do it. And that's why I said in my social media post with Diddy, I wasn't speaking to Diddy's innocence or guilt because I wasn't there. I was just saying this look back when there's an epidemic. It's an epidemic for you, Sam. It's an epidemic for you, Omar. It's an epidemic for your boys. So anybody who has the ability and they can become successful or wealthy, and then some woman gets to come back, you haven't heard from in 30 years, and say, well, I know he's sitting on $20 to $30 million. I want some of it. Well, you bring they call a civil suit against you in New York State, and here you go. You're going to spend millions of dollars.
That is not right. Especially for something 30, 40, 50 years ago. That's just dead wrong to me. That was not saying that what he did to her was wrong. Don't get me wrong, because he was whooping her ass. This is Gene Deal.
When Big got murdered, brother, in the car behind us, I sold a chain that weekend to Stevie J that he didn't even pay me for the cross on it or nothing. You know what I'm saying? He gave me half the money. He took that same chain that I sold him, brother, and gave it to Faith the night that Big died. Talking about he was giving it to the little Chris. He didn't even own the chain at the time. So I know Stevie J real well. He can play those games like he don't know me, but he knows.
I don't know Pretty.
Well. He just said a lot of clowns on the internet about me. You understand? Talking about I got bad knees and all this other bullshit. Man, I kick Stevie J so far to that, he'll take shoe polish. I don't know when he became a fucking gangster. Excuse me for my language. I don't know when he became a gangster. He was talking all that gangster stuff about 50 and what he'd do and how he was never that type of dude, bro, man. That's them drugs, man. That is them drugs. Stevie J better set his little act down. He'd be the first in the church. Everybody be come looking at him, and he wouldn't be making a sound. Do you understand me? He'll be the first in the church. Dressed better than everybody.
Let's get this P. Diddy.
Right, bro. I don't know where you get that from. That's crazy, bro. It's so regular, Big end up dead, right? That's how regular it was. Yo, bro. Tupac was loved by the West Coast as well as the East Coast.
Facts.
Or down south, Tupac was loved.
Facts.
If they put out there in the atmosphere that the guys that had something to do with, or maybe had something to do with the death of arguably one of the top 5 rappers of all time, and the love that he had with all the music he had just put out in short time of him coming out of jail, you gonna tell me that ain't nobody, not nobody, wanna kill somebody over him or hurt somebody? Big Jake was loved by the Bloods out there. You gonna tell me don't nobody, not one person, wanna hurt somebody over Jake's death? Are you serious, bro? There's nothing regular about that night. It wasn't so regular. It's something no regular. He knew that Wolf said he wasn't coming out there unless he was coming out there right. Wolf wanted to take two tour buses with us. So now he noticed. He close to Puff at this time. So he know what's going on. The head knocker, the problem solver. He not even going to LA because he know it ain't safe. What do you mean? He couldn't take it serious. So if he didn't take it serious, and he wasn't serious, why did he say on that fake documentary, The Greatest Love of All Time, Hip Hop Love or something like that, that it was an East Coast war at the time? Make up your mind. How surprised was you when you seen him there, Faith and Stevie J? Yo, when Stevie J started messing around with Faith,
that fucked me up. That messed me up.
Allegedly, the drugs had got to her and the drugs had got to him.
Wow.
There's no way in hell.
Wow.
Cornhead Stevie J, cornball Stevie J, was anybody that I could ever see after knowing the dudes that Faith used to be around and used to be with. Now she's dealing with Stevie J. Yo, bro, cocaine is a hell of a drug. It's a hell of a drug. Because there's no way.
Damn. I never known Faith Evans to use drugs. Wow. Wow.
A person that helped you produce music for your ex-husband and produce music for you singing your love to me is a type of dude that you want to go back and be with them. I was shocked.
I was shocked too.
To be totally honest, man, when I first saw Faith on stage at the Palladium, she was drop dead gorgeous. I'm talking about drop dead gorgeous, brother. Motherfucking two big in a bucket. She was thick as thunder. She had the white, like silver. She had like the silver hot pants suit on, and she was singing. I was like, yo, damn, who the fuck is that? They said, yo, that's Big's wife. And I said, Big? Big's wife? And I said, they said, yeah, that's Big's wife. I said, damn, what's wrong with her? You know what I'm saying? Because I used to joke like that. I said, damn, what's wrong with her? You know what I'm saying? They said, no, man, that's a big thing. I was like, yo, man, leave that alone. But to see her with Stevie J, man, I was like, nah. And then, B was the type of dude that had mad charisma. When you get to know him and be around him, you can see why honeys go at him, other than the fact they think he got a lot of money and that he gonna spend that money because he gotta spend that money. You understand? Because him and his status, they get past all the looks and everything. To be totally honest with you. You understand? That's why, his own man was jealous of him, D-Rock. You understand? I used to see girls scream and holler at Big and used to fall out on the floor crying. And then D-Rock used to say, Mom, you doing that for Chris? For Chris? I was like, yo, this thing right here. But to see Stevie J go to Faith, man, listen to me. That's some asinine act backwards that you would never expect to happen. But that's the music industry. That's Hollywood. Anything could happen. So for you look at it as betrayal. Portrayal at the worst. You can't even think of a word for that. Portrayal? Man, come on, man. All the women in this world, you understand? Now, if he was going to just slide with her, lay with her here and that, and not be out in the public eye and let nobody know, then all right, it is what it is. But to go and knowing that you wasn't going to do right, knowing that you wasn't right, knowing that you ain't have a pot to piss in and a boot to pour it out, knowing that there's nothing that you can do, come on, bro. That nigga was foul for that, bro. He was foul in so many different ways to deal with his partners. I would say him and Big was partners, but y'all was cool, y'all was close, y'all did music, like that. It's no way. You understand?
Well, where's it?
Shit was crazy. And bro, listen to me. He dropped the sex tape. You understand? Intentionally. For notoriety and attention. With Eve.
Yep, he did.
Strap-ons and all that shit.
Yep.
In those tapes. Come on, man. And this is what Diddy like. This is what they said he liked. This has been going on throughout the years. And now you living with him.
Come on.
Man that you once said that you hated. You ain't effing with him. But now you loyal. Come on, bro. These guys make it up as they go. But how you know he leaked his sex tape on purpose? We're gonna Eve. But if you don't want that shit to get out, it's not gonna get out. You understand? If you don't want that
damn, I remember when that sex tape was leaked too.
They have in their personal library. And he knew that would bring attention to him. He knew that would bring attention to him. And that was the thing. It's just like Kim Kardashian Ray J.
Okay, we gonna go past
her
that.
mother dropped that. And you asking these questions. You understand? But this dude right here, he's painting this dude to be a monster, which he is to certain people. But do we really want to see that and hear this or talk about this? But you know what I mean, though, man. I mean, it don't make sense. I get what you're saying, Marty. I get what you're saying. Yeah, so you get it. If somebody in the shower and you outside the shower, wash it, don't take a shower. I mean, come on, man. That don't sound like somebody that's making you do that. You can walk out, man. But it's what a motherfucker say that to. Say, man, you gonna watch me take a shower, but then you ain't gonna have a job in the morning. That's a boss talk, right? You got a choice, man. Walk out. Just get fired. Huh? You got a choice. But if he ain't fear of his job, he may not have a choice.
Dang.
I don't want my job that bad, man. To be giving another dude hand jobs and BJs and watching them take a shower. I don't know, man. I mean, that sounds like somebody that, is willingly indulging in that kind of activity, man. Respectfully. I ain't trying to sound rude, but I'm just keeping it real. I can't put my mind in his mindset, whether he wanted to or he was not. I just said, and I'm telling the public out there, it was important.
That's at the beginning of the video with the good time and the ADAPT program, the judge program. He should get 2 years credit. And so they saying September 2026. I'm saying next year, but you got to watch the beginning of the video.
And an employer. And they were lovers also.
Hey, King Musa. Hey, King Mason. Hey.
We used to do the building and the red zone. The building was the unsigned hype that Puff used to do parties there. The red zone was a party where he used to do Daddy's house on Wednesday. I used to follow Puff to Kirk Burrow's house, and he would stay there. You understand?
Damn.
On 111th Street and Fifth Avenue, above Dimley's. He used to stay there with Kirk Burrow. You got a girl and a baby or hormones like that. When you staying with another cat for? Everybody always knew that shit. But it wasn't me to judge them. And the way Kirk used to act. He was in love with Puff for a long time. He wouldn't press charges with him. He was ready to go to jail for him. But I'll let you ask that question.
Damn.
What do you mean by that? He was willing to go to jail for D? Well, the police wanted, the feds wanted some information from Kirk and some papers from Kirk. Kirk was willing to hide those papers and hide that evidence that he had or documents that he had.
I just answered the questions at the beginning of the video where he should have 2 years good time credit that comes off the sentence. And so they saying he should come home September 2026. I don't see him coming home next year. So you got to watch the beginning of the video.
And he got caught taking him out the house and trying to hide him. He didn't know the feds had him under surveillance, and they ended up locking him up. But he ended up doing fed time.
Damn.
I see. But you personally, how you feel about it? Because I know you keep saying that they was in a relationship. So I'm assuming that you feel like he did it on his own, right? Well, like I said to you, I'm not going to say Kirk Burrow willingly just did everything because Diddy probably forced him on certain nights if he had a headache. If Kirk Burrow had a headache, Diddy probably forced him on certain nights. So I can't say every night. I don't know those guys' relationship like that, but I do know that one was an employee relationship and one was a lover's relationship, and that Diddy probably forced Kirk to do certain things he probably did because he was that type of dude. So everything and all the time they got together, I can't say it's consensual. I don't know their relationship like that. Me personally, I don't follow Diddy. I mean, he a grown man, bro. He gave you an ultimatum. You had a choice. It's not like he put a gun to your head, man. Let's put it like this, Marty. I understand your analogy of what you're saying. Say if it's a woman. She got 3 kids to feed. This is her only job. Her rent is back already a month or so because the daddy ain't doing a goddamn thing for his kids. So she comes in the office and her boss says to her, listen to me, if you don't give me no head, you won't have a job in the morning. Now, this is before all these different laws to protect people at their job and their workforce happen. You got to realize this is in the late 80s, early 90s, and stuff like that. This is going down. We have all these Me Too movements, these equal rights All this shit wasn't going on. Now, we're not even gonna say Kirk. We're gonna say a woman. Her boss tell her to do that shit.
Well, you ain't lying about that. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, hit the like button.